Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. I do comic analysis videos, I do a ton of different X-Men videos, and I do Marvel Omnibus overviews and reviews, which is what we're doing here today. So without further ado, let's take a look at the Miles Morales Omnibus Volume 1. So here is the front cover, and I will show you the back and the spine of the book as well, but it's worth mentioning that while this book is being reprinted, it's also being rebranded, so this won't be how the new printing looks exactly. That one, we'll call it a Volume 1, since the follow-up omnibus is also going to be reprinted, and that's going to be the Volume 2. This omnibus collects Ultimate Comics Spider-Man 1 through 28 and 16.1, Spider-Man 1 through 5, Cataclysm Ultimate Spider-Man 1 through 3, Ultimate Spider-Man 200, Miles Morales, Ultimate Spider-Man 1 through 12, and material from Ultimate Fallout. So what exactly is this book, and who is Miles Morales, and how is he Spider-Man? Well, this particular omnibus takes place in the Ultimate Universe, which if you're unfamiliar with what that is, it's essentially a new universe Marvel created in the early 2000s so they could relaunch some of their star titles and engage new readers who had worries about jumping into the main 616 universe for fear of being weighed down by decades of continuity and retcons. One of the more popular series from this universe, if not the most popular and a personal favorite of mine by the way, was the Ultimate Spider-Man run. Slight spoilers here for you all if you aren't familiar with how that run ends, but Peter Parker in the Ultimate Universe ends up being killed, and through a series of events that involve Oscorp and the Prowler, Miles Morales ends up getting bit by a similar spider, and he too gains spider-themed powers, although with some slight variations. In addition to the base Spider-Man power set, he also has the ability to turn invisible for a period of time, and he also has a unique power which he calls a Venom Blast, which is similar to an electric blast that seems to really take it out of a lot of his enemies. So essentially the book is about Miles Morales taking up the mantle of the Spider-Man and taking the responsibility of keeping New York safe with his newfound powers. And it becomes a very messy situation for him, as it often does for unfortunate Spider-Mans who, I guess, the Parker luck extends to all the versions of Spider-Man, as Miles faces tough challenge after tough challenge after tough challenge, and these range from things like family tragedy hitting him, or, finding out that his uncle is the Prowler, a mega supervillain, who then tries to exploit him for it. And this is written by Brian Michael Bendis, who is a very, very talented comic book writer, and personally one of my favorites. He wrote the original Ultimate Spider-Man storyline, he wrote this story, he wrote Alias, he wrote New Avengers, he even wrote a bit of X-Men. I enjoy that X-Men run as well. I know that's a little bit more controversial, but I think he's a great creative mind, and I really like what he does in this book as well. And I really like the artwork as well. The pencil work of Sarah Pichelli, which I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, really matches up with the awesome writing of Brian Michael Bendis, and it just creates this really awesome book that is just working together on every front to give us this very satisfying product. And speaking thematically about the book, we get a lot of things in this. There's maybe a little bit of something for everyone. I mean, we get this discussion of loss and legacy. We also get, moments of humor. We get family themes, personal life struggles with responsibility, everything good about a Spider-Man story wrapped up into one essentially. You will laugh, you might even cry at some of the storyline, but overall, I think you will, just as I did and many others did, will fall in love with the character of Miles Morales because he's got so much heart, so much compassion, and he is just awesome. He's really fun to read. And even for the hardcore classic Spider-Man fans, it's really fun in here too, because we get Miles dealing with the original Rogues Gallery of the original Ultimate Spider-Man, albeit, but they're essentially the same characters from the 616 universe, although a few of them have some slight variations to them, like the Green Goblin does, of course, and Mysterio does as well. But it's fun to see someone with a similar but slightly different power set take on some of those classic original villains. We also have the Spider-Men storyline in here, which is sort of this interdimensional worlds colliding type tale, where our Miles Morales gets to meet the Spider-Man, the Peter Parker of the 616 universe, and, he shares some sage wisdom with him, they have some laughs, they have some goofs, they fight some villains and whatnot. It's just always fun to see Spider-Men fight together. And it's got some really emotional scenes in it too, which I'm sure you could figure, since Peter Parker did die in the Ultimate Universe, and the 616 Peter Parker, kind of learns of that and has to sort of rationalize it in his head and come to peace with it. Like I said though, it is not devoid of humor at all either. It again mixes humor and real themes and tragedy together beautifully, and the funny part of it that I laughed at even is at the end of that Spider-Man story before they're parting ways, our Peter Parker from the 616 universe, and this is before the worlds collided with Secret Wars, blah blah blah, but he imparts some wisdom onto Miles Morales, and one of the pieces of advice he gives him is, hey, don't let yourself get cloned, man. Just do not do it. Do not go down that road. Which is funny because I am not up to date on the Miles Morales storylines, but I think they recently did a Clone Saga story, so I'd be interested to know if that is about Miles being cloned or there's another clone or whatnot. I don't know what's going on with that. But yeah, it's a really cool read, guys. We also get a lot of characters that are involved in the story who really do a lot to lift it up. Particularly one I enjoyed and I wish to see more of is Bombshell, who, yeah, of course I enjoyed her. She's a cool mutant, and I always love the mutants, and I love the mutants when they're in books that aren't X-Men as well. So yeah, I was drawn to her, but there's a ton of other cool characters too. And I hope you get to experience them when you read this book, because you absolutely should. It is a must-read for Spider-Man fans. And so with that, please let me know if you plan on picking this run up, guys, or if you've read this already, let me know what you thought of it, because I always love to hear your thoughts, so leave a comment below, leave a like on the video, and subscribe if you enjoyed watching this video. And with that, have a great rest of your day, guys.